Hey, and welcome to episode 8. And in today's show, I would like to talk to you about momentum, right? And I think for all of us here who are familiar with the whole idea of building a business, you know that momentum, it's really, really important. But before we get into that, I just like to do a quick recap in terms of why am I here, what am I doing, right? So my name is Melvin, and I decided that I wanted to do a live show every day. And yes, it is tough. Yes, it is nerve-wracking because you just need to be able to know what you want to say, and at the same time being instructive, being constructive, being educational at the same time. I think that it's something that can be quite intimidating for many of us, right? And so what I really like to do here is I like to be able to give you a sense of what's happening, because I am building something, and this something that I'm building is actually, in a way, it's my life's work. And how is it my life's work? Let me give you a little bit of background context itself. So many years back, I started off as a consultant. I decided to pivot from working with small and mid-sized companies to working with schools. And so when I started working with schools, one of the main challenges was that I was not able to get, any jobs because the school market was actually very, very a closely knit market. And so as a result of that, it was kind of difficult for me to be able to get into the market itself, because if you do not have the track record, then it's difficult for them to want to engage you. And if they don't engage you, you don't get a track record. You know what I'm saying? So that came into a situation. But over time, what I did was my partner and I, we tried a bunch of things, and most of it didn't work. But the one thing that did work propelled us and gave us that oomph. It gave us that ability to grow by 350% in a period of 6 months. And so we were pretty cool with that. And within 6 months, we have got 18 schools that decided to work with us. Not because we did anything magical, but we kind of understood one very simple thing. And the one very simple thing is that your customers are on a journey, right? They are on a journey. And the fact that they are on a journey, it means that, they want to get from where they are to where they want to be. However, there are certain people or certain of your customers, what's happening is that they may experience a little bit of an inertia, the desire to stay in a status quo. And sometimes the issue is them. Well, I wouldn't say issue, but sometimes the concern is them because they are uncertain about what lies ahead. But sometimes that concern could be you, right? Because they are not sure of, whether you are the person that it's able to help them. And so as a result of that, they may not want to engage you, right? So like in my case, the issue was me because, or rather my firm, because they were not confident that we were able to do the job. And so as a result of that, they decided not to engage us, instead to engage the competitors, because the competitors have demonstrated that they had delivered results in the past, and we were a new kid on the block. So we were facing with that situation whereby we needed to prove ourselves. And so how do we do it, right? So I want to get on to that part here, because this is where I want to spend a little bit of time sharing with you this idea about momentum. So the key idea with that is that if you have a timeline, like for example, you want your prospect or your potential customer, it's going from point A to point B, right? And I don't know why my screen looks funny today, but I think it's got something to do with my camera setting. Anyways, so let's get back to it, right? I was saying that when you look at your customers, they go from where they are now to where they want to be. Now the question is, what's going to get them to start on that journey? Because some of them may prefer to be in the status quo because of, like I mentioned, it could be them. They are unsure of whether they should invest because the amount of uncertainty that it's hanging out here is just unbelievable. So that's one factor. Factor two could be you, because they are unsure if you are able to do the job, and so they might not want to take the risk with you. And then of course the third factor, it's got nothing to do with you, it's got nothing to do with them. It's the environment that they're operating in, right? They are uncertain, and so as a result, they are not taking the plunge. They are not working on it. And so, the thing is that you got to recognize how is it that you can kind of help them get over that inertia, to help nudge them, or to be able to give them a boost, to help them cross that hurdle, to help them move out of that comfort zone, to help them make the first step and begin on their journey. And so, if you're familiar with economics, there is a field of economics called behavioral economics, right? If you're familiar with economics, there is a field called behavioral economics. And in behavioral economics, there is a study about human behavior. And one aspect of it which really intrigued me is this idea about inertia. So the inertia is the desire to want to stay in the status quo for whatever reasons. And so how do we actually get people to get out of the status quo and to get them to move? And the answer to that is basically to give them a boost. And when we say give them a boost, the economists, they have studied that, and they say that the way you talk about giving them a boost is to equip them with domain-specific competencies so that they will be better informed, or they will be better equipped to make an informed decision. So let me say that again. A boost, it's providing, let me say that again, right? Damn. So a boost is to, oh man. Sometimes, so this is the thing with live videos, right? Because there's no take, second take itself. So, that's the difficulty with doing a live video, because you need to be focused, you need to be on point, and you need to be able to hold the attention of your audience, because otherwise they will leave. So let's get back to that. So in behavioral economics, there is a study about human behavior, and one aspect of it which really interests me is about inertia. So inertia is the desire to stay in a status quo. Now, the thing is, how do we get people to move out of their comfort zone, to get out of the status quo, to embark on this journey to take them from where they are now to where they want to be? And so it turns out that there are numerous studies, and one of the studies talked about to boost the people who are in that state of inertia, to give them a boost so that they will be able to embark on this journey. Now, the definition of the boost is basically this: to equip these people with domain-specific competencies so that they are better able to make an informed decision. Now, let me state this very clear, because there will be people who are watching who may think that giving people a boost could be manipulating them. However, the whole idea behind the boost is that, unlike the nudge, the boost actually equip them with the right competencies, with the right knowledge and skills, so that they are better able to make an informed decision. So let me give you an example. Back in my days when we were starting out with schools, the key problem was they were not hiring us. And the reason why they were not hiring us is because they say that we have no track record. And because we have no track record, they are not going to stick out their neck for us and engage us, someone who has no track record, and yet pay us the same price as the competitors who have got track record. And so we need to get them out of that status quo and to consider working with us. So what is that boost there that we can allow them to equip them with the domain specific competencies so that they are better able to make an informed decision? So what we did was that we walk into the school and we say that, hey, we will do an audit of your current systems and processes. And at the end of that process itself, what we will do is we will give you an audit report. In other words, we will tell you what are your gaps and what exactly do you have to do to bridge those gaps, right? So we're providing value because we're going in there, we're looking at their systems and processes. We're telling them where they are not meeting the standards, and we tell them exactly how to bridge the gap. Now, what happens with that whole process is that they get to reduce their risk of working with someone who has no track record. Because, the worst thing that could happen is that we screw the whole thing up. And because that entire process itself was pro bono. And as a result of that, they didn't have to pay us. And the only thing that they have to agree to this whole process itself is that they cannot be working with another consultant, which makes a lot of sense, because the last thing we want is for them to use a report and tell their consultant that they are not doing their job. So the first is we need to do what we call a risk reversal. It's at no risk at all to them to engage us because A, they're not paying. B, we are giving them a full report and we show them a sample of how that report would look like. And we tell them that this is the report that you're going to get at the end of that process itself. So number one was risk reversal. Number two was we go in there and we do a damn good job, right? And as a result of that, we were able to help them get that result. Now, the result for them was basically to know exactly where are the gaps and what to do with those gaps, right? So we help them get results in the whole process itself. So we take all the risks, they get all the benefit. And then there's one more thing that I tell them is that at the end of that process, we will give you the report. We only ask that you give us 45 minutes of your time for us to present that report to you, because if we just give you the report, you might have a lot of questions. So I said, give me 45 minutes. I will present the report to you and answer whatever question that you may have regarding the report that we have given you, right? And at the end of that 45 minutes, we will go, right? There will be no hard sell. There won't be any form of, I'm holding back information unless you engage me. So that was our promise to them. And thirdly, what we did was we demonstrate to them what is it like to do business with us. And so when they go through that whole process with us, they felt that, hey, there's no risk on my end. At the end of the day, you were giving me a report, and I can still decide whether to engage you or not. And so to them, it's a minimal thing, but to us, it was an opportunity to demonstrate, to show that we are worth our salt. We know what we're saying, and we are able to do a job, if not even better than anyone else in the market. And that's exactly what we did, right? And so what does this got to do with momentum? Now, momentum comes about when we start doing certain thing and we become consistent with it. Momentum comes about when we start doing certain thing and we are consistent with it. And that is when people can come to expect a certain level of quality, a certain level of results that they could get in exchange for their attention. So I'm going to be assuming that these live streams have been beneficial for some people. And those are the people that I want to serve, I want to work with, because you are the ones that are watching this, and you're the ones who wants to leverage what you know and to be able to multiply that, right? So I call that a talent multiplier. In other words, you have a set of talent, you have a set of expertise and all that. And what I want you to do is to be able to take that and multiply that. That means to reach out to more people, to make more impact, right? To have a greater impact with your body of work. And if that's what you're after, then let's talk, because there are a few things that I have looked at. Number one, it's the audience. People may have the expertise, they may know how to solve a problem, but the problem is with that is that they can't find the people who need that solution. So that number one piece of puzzle is that you need to be able to find the audience that requires or that desire your solution. That's number one. Number two is that, even if you find that audience, how do you assure them that their investment by working with you, it's going to be the right one? And so that's where the catalytic causes comes into play. And then, of course, the last thing that you have to take into account is you have to have a flywheel system. What exactly is a flywheel system? We'll talk about that in a separate show, in a separate episode. But essentially, in a nutshell, a flywheel system is not just any system that allows you to get things done. A flywheel system, it's over time, when you keep doing it and you keep doing it and you keep doing it, you build up the momentum. And at the end of the day, this thing can fly, right? So a great example would be Amazon. Amazon, because of their ability to have a wide range of products available at a lower price, as a result of that, they were able to attract a large number of customers to their website. And because they are able to attract a large number of customers to their website, they are then able to attract, third-party sellers to want to advertise and want to sell on Amazon. As a result of that becomes a flywheel system. So what you need is not just a system, right? It's not just a marketing funnel, but what you need is a flywheel system. What exactly is a flywheel system? Let's talk about that on another day, right? So if you have any questions with regards to catalytic courses, please drop me a DM or leave me a comment, and I'll be more than happy to answer that. With that, this is Melvin Tan signing off. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.